Welcome everybody, it's great to see you. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Welcome to this month's conference. It's going to be another really exciting one. I think we've still got people entering, so I'm just going to hang on a few minutes while people get connected, get the sound, get the volume, and put your cameras on because I'm going to make you in there anyway, so you might as well put them on now. Oh, that's to the beginning. Right, I think we are just about ready. I'm going to start, if that's okay, because I think we've got a great conference again for you. This month is about strategies to support the teacher in the global classroom. We've got some expert speakers to share their best practice with you, to give you some fantastic ideas and to motivate you from all over the world. And we can't keep Jocelyn awake because Jocelyn is joining us from the Philippines, which is nearly midnight. So, you know, we've got some exciting things to share. She's come all the way from the Philippines to be with us. So we have an amazing agenda. I'm going to give you a brief intro as usual, run over the Global School Alliance. And then I'm going to hand over to John to introduce our three amazing speakers, Jocelyn, Esmeralda and Joe. And then again, we want it to be interactive, so please do connect with us. So as for those of you who have not joined the Global School Alliance, you should be, but basically the Global School Alliance is an amazing community, fantastic educators like our speakers, inspirational educators who share best practice, and the whole aim of joining the community is to help facilitate those connections, to enable you to share, to learn from each other, to improve global education basically for pupils. That is our main aim, to create global citizens, to be successful in our global society. So we want to be able to provide you with as much opportunities to connect, to learn from each other. There's lots of opportunities on our platform where you can participate in these events like this. We have our student council. We had a fantastic one this morning. The primary student council this morning discussed school lunches. So they showed us what they ate and things they did around the world. So we had them from Bangladesh, from Moldova, from England, from Northern Ireland, talking about their school lunches. And that's the primary age. So there's a secondary student council as well. There are lots of projects and resources on the platform, ways to connect basically. And we'll also use our platform for supporting our groups. So when we set up a partnership for you, we have a partnership program which we can help you find partners. We use the platform as a resource for you to enable to connect and collaborate and communicate properly to do projects in a proper partnership. So like I said, the aim at the moment, our current focus is to develop global dimensions within your curriculum, to make sure it's useful and sustainable and embedded so that these students get the best future in the world, the current world. So we want to support that by finding and establishing international partnerships for you, supporting them to make sure they're active and sustainable for us. Well, there's no point just having it in a name only. The whole point of having a partnership is to interact, to sustain it, to benefit future generations through online projects, through traveling to visit each other. Obviously, you can't beat that, our face-to-face travel. Now that we can start moving around the world, I think we should get everyone out there sharing each other's culture face-to-face. If you can't do that, the next best thing is digitally, so we can use our platform, we can do lots of projects online anyway. So basically, we want to get back to developing global dimensions and global education, which has been the whole focus before. And we have our awards program. And the aim of the awards program obviously is to celebrate and recognize you doing these global activities with your students, raising awareness at bronze level, interacting digitally at silver level, and traveling again at gold level. Celebrate and get your certificate. So everyone in the world to be at gold level. So we want to get everyone gold accredited. Talk to John and myself, and we'll support you with finding partnerships, developing these projects, and making sure you get there. That is our whole aim. And again, we had our programs that we launched last term have finished. At the moment, they've closed. So if you did apply or didn't manage to join us, we have school programs to help with developing dimensions. The full transformation program is the best one, the most cost-effective one to get on. The full transformation of your school to gold accreditation with our support. And that is obviously making it bespoke to your school, doing an audit and an action plan that suits you, sorting out partnerships that you can work online with projects, sorting out partnerships and trips for you, hosting your partner school, because obviously we want those trips to be both ways. So you can host students within your school, so not just the people that go on those trips benefit, but bring them back to your school, so your school benefits from hosting. We are wanting to recognize the international coordinator as a as a proper role. So we are looking at certifying and getting you proper qualifications in that are recognised. So we've got training on international coordinators. We want to support these trips. So this is a full package basically of support for us to get you to gold accreditation and get the trips happening. So that is being launched again for the next summer term. Only 20 places on that, so look out and register for it. Some of you might have already heard. I think if you were interested before, you might be offered an early bird special VIP access to them if you've been interested before. Hannah's been sending those out. Otherwise, you have to wait till after Easter and find out about our new programs. But keep an eye out for them and join. We are also relaunching our ambassador program. You might have noticed there's been a few changes on the platform. We're updating and upgrading the use of the platform all the time. We're trying to improve our resources for you, our facilities, to make sure that things work better. We have now just got one membership. It's a bit confusing having members and ambassadors before. With this new ambassador role is based on our old ambassador pro role. So basically it is being more active. It's getting involved to promote the Global School Alliance around the world and changing lives basically. John is happy to have a chat with anyone who wants to know more about it. It will be open to apply for. You have to apply to become an ambassador now, and it's going to be much more of an active role. So look out for this. This is going to be promoted more, and it's on the platform. I think it's live now, Hannah. Can they see this on the platform now? You can check out the platform now about becoming one of our ambassadors and spreading the word around the world, basically. So like I say, joining the Global School Alliance is free. It's a free community. We want to make it as accessible as possible to everybody, so you can all join in. There is no reason why not. Get an account, go on the platform, connect with everybody, participate in projects that are on there, competitions we run, events like this every month, student councils, and like I say, so basically join us and access all these wonderful programs. Okay, so that's my spiel on the Global School Alliance for those of you who didn't know about it. What we want to focus on now is today and our conference, and we want it to be interactive. We want to hear from you. This is a two-way thing. Use the chat function to say hi, say where you're from. Any questions you've got for the speakers, put them in there. We'll be keeping an eye on them. We want you to interact. We can either ask the question for you or ask you to ask your own questions. It's entirely up to you. You can put your hand up. And again, share this. We want to be sharing what we're doing, because the more people as part of the community, the more people taking part, the bigger voice and the biggest impact we can have. So like I say, the more leverage we've got on changing education systems that are getting a bit outdated. So everyone needs to be joining. So share what we're doing, basically. And like I say, I always make it interactive. For those of you who are new, I write to my name and shame. We have a poll, and I'm going to make people get involved. I'm not going to close it until you've all voted once. There's going to be a couple of polls, and I'm also going to take a photograph of you in a minute. But the first poll is, because of the focus of today, is helping the teacher in the global classroom, how you can develop your teaching and learning for those global aspects. So the poll says, how flexible can you be in your teaching and learning strategies? Can you be flexible and you're supported? Do your school allow you to do your own teaching and learning, or not very much? It's very controlled, or not at all? It's a total challenge. You have to do what you're told. How much flexibility have you got? I think, Hannah, are you okay to launch that poll? And let's see if we can get everybody involved. Give us your feedback. This is really interesting to find out how flexible you can be in your teaching and learning, because every different education system around the world is very different, as I'm finding out more and more each day. Unfortunately, because I'm sharing screen, I can't see if you're voting though. How are we doing, Hannah? Has everyone voted? Can I stop nagging them?
Yep, I'll stop it now.
Fantastic. Okay, would you like to share the results with us?
So 72% say very much, 19% say not much, and 9% say it's a challenge.
That's reassuring that the majority of people do have a much flexibility. So now you're going to learn what you can do with that flexibility. We're going to give you some great ideas that you can use in your flexible planning. Okay, as I said, there is one more which is more focused on basically the global dimensions within your planning. So are there global dimensions in your curriculum, or are you still fighting to get them there? We are having a big advocacy at the moment to make sure that global dimensions are embedded, not just a nice add-on. These wonderful experiences we can provide aren't add-ons that aren't a priority. We need to get to our leadership to say to get them valued, high priority to get these global dimensions. So the poll is, in your school, yes, you do have global dimensions and they are embedded in your curriculum. They are a bit, could be improved, or no, they're not. So we need to help you to get them recognized. Okay, can we launch this one as well, Hannah? I hope it's a good one that we are managing to get it there. Otherwise, we've got a bit of work to do, haven't we? Is everybody voting? I do hope.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, fantastic. Okay, would you like to share the share the results, Hannah?
So 40% say that yes, they are. 54% say a little, and 6% say no.
Oh, that's a shame. It's not as high as we'd like, but it's getting there. Like I said, we need to get 80 or 90% saying yes, it's embedded. Okay, we just have to. But thank you very much for sharing and participating in our polls. All these results and everything we're doing today is going to be shared on the platform, the recording and the presentation and everything. So those of you can see what we've done, and those who haven't turned over into recording, yeah, can know what happened as well. Okay, and like I said, I'm also going to name and shame. We are going to take a photograph of you all. I do this every time. So this is your chance now to give you, smooth your hair down, put your cameras on, because I'm going to stop sharing so I can see whether you've got your cameras on or not. There's too many with cameras off. Come on, cameras on. You can turn them off again if you must afterwards. Practice your smiles, smooth your hair down. Okay, we're nearly all there. Hannah, let me know when we think it's decent enough. We're going to all smile. Hey, look, I can see everybody. I love it. Nice smiles, guys. Wonderful. So there's a few still not quite there. We're getting there. Come on, put your cameras on, guys. David, you should at least have your camera on. I don't want to see your name there. I want to see your face. Come on, guys. Wonderful. 2 more minutes. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Wonderful. Okay. We got some good pictures there, Hannah, right? Thank you, everybody. That's wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to stop nagging you all now, and we're going to get on with finding out more about our amazing speakers and hearing their expertise they're going to share with us. So over to you, John.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tony. Love that photo bit. We should download those. Hello to our wonderful global community of educators that are joining us today. We always say, well, I always certainly say, you are the most important people in the world. Global educators sharing, communicating, collaborating every day. It's a huge privilege to work with you and to learn from you. You're key in that great conversation of humankind. Everyday educators coming together, learning and sharing and collaborating some incredible practice. And we're very, very pleased and privileged to be joined by 3 great global educators today. Hello to Jocelyn Dimala from the Philippines. Jocelyn is the school principal at Unida College and has a varied career in business processes, food and beverage companies, and manufacturing industries. She's always been fascinated with robot mechanisms and artificial intelligence, and is a Women in Tech ambassador, as well as an ambassador for global sustainability, and of course, an ambassador for us, the Global School Alliance. Fascinating work, Jocelyn. Jocelyn is also a recipient of an Outstanding Leadership Award and one of the top 5 finalists in the Women in Tech Global Leadership Award. Many congratulations for that recognition. Jocelyn is very committed to empowering women and young people and making that difference through technology and wide engagement and collaboration through a range of global projects. So it's great to have you with us, Jocelyn. And we know it's late as well in the Philippines, so a special welcome. And then we welcome the wonderful Esmeralda Salgado. Esmeralda is an advanced skills teacher and former head of MFL. She's been teaching languages now for more than 20 years across a range of school settings. Esmeralda has that passionate commitment to the use of digital tools and collaboration for schools, and has a wide range of global experience in global projects, including eTwinning and Erasmus+. Congratulations, Esmeralda. She was a winner of a UK National Award as Secondary School Teacher of the Year last year. Fantastic achievement. And has recently completed a book around the use of Spanish verbs. A great blogger, writer and CPD provider, Esmeralda is also looking forward to returning to the classroom later this year when she moves to Oxford with her family. So great to have you back in the classroom, Esmeralda, and great to have you with us today. And then we move up to Bradford in West Yorkshire, and a big welcome to Jo Speak, who is head teacher of the wonderful Poplars Farm Primary School in Bradford. Jo is a very passionate and experienced school leader with a wide range of experience in working with some very challenging, deprived and diverse urban schools. A university tutor and an arts consultant, Joe's always championed inquiry-based creative learning for all. Joe has that huge commitment to global partnerships and is currently a global lead for new pedagogies for deep learning global projects, an important initiative there. And is also a European coordinator for pan-European projects around inclusion and global competencies. So 3 great, wonderful global educators. As we said, we're very proud and very privileged to learn from you today. And without further ado, it's a warm welcome to Jocelyn. Over to you, Jocelyn.
Oh, thank you for that lovely introduction, dear John. And it is both a pleasure and a great honor to be here with you today. Thanks for having me, my GSA family. Of course, it's so nice to see you all here. So let me start by sharing with you my screen. Can you see it now?
That's great, thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. So our topic is empowering the whole school to think globally. So these are just some of the strategies, to support us global educators in the classroom. So first is, let us know more about, or probably review, what global education is. It says the heart of global education is enabling young people to participate in shaping a better shared future for the world. Global education emphasizes the unity and interdependence of human society, developing a sense of self and appreciation of cultural diversity, affirmation of social justice and human rights, as well as building peace and actions for a sustainable future in different times and places. So global education is usually it emphasizes the unity, right, and interdependence of human society, of developing, it says, a self of appreciation. So it's more of the positive values and assist students to take greater responsibility for their actions and to see themselves as global citizens who can contribute to a more peaceful, just, and sustainable world. Now, let's take a look on what these concepts that describe global classroom. So as you can see in this presentation, global classroom aims to connect text courses with the course from an international partner school, like for example, or an institution, to offer meaningful learning experiences by linking the students to a multicultural, collaborative international experience from or through a digital environment. So it's very important that we have collaborative online international learning and a global classroom. So students and teachers work together to achieve a common goal. And these values are shared learning experiences from both the knowledge applied, the differences and similarities. So we have 4 essential dimensions of virtual mobility. Okay, as you can see here, the first one is a collaborative exercise, meaning it's an activity or probably series of activities from professors and students. So they will craft those exercises, of course, through the use of technology and online interactions. So we will have definitely potential international dimensions inside of that, and that is in one learning process. How about these concepts? The core model here is a collaborative work, okay? And the next is, in that model, those activities will be carried out in multicultural teams. As you can see, they work together to achieve a common goal. So this is what global classroom is all about. I got this from a very good source. You can see it later. Okay, now let's dive into our challenge now. Let me give you some of the challenges we have in schools. First is we collaborated to develop a good implementation on the curriculum through ESG in schools. So as we all know, ESG is environmental, social, and governance. So what does it do in schools? And what is our challenge? Our challenge with such a wide range of possible approaches and solutions, and a panoply of issues that fall under the ESG umbrella, where should organizations focus? How should they make a start? This is like, a huge, complex ideas. ESG came from the historical background of CSR, human, and like the safety and all of that. So it's a more complex but better approach, wherein we find the balance between risk and opportunity. First thing we did is we aligned it with the mission and vision. Let me give you this example. This is our school's mission and vision. Our mission is to instill knowledge and Christian values in achieving academic excellence and developing globally competitive leaders who will contribute significant impact to society. And our vision is to be the most admired educational institution in our city by 2027. Our school is now the largest private school in the city with more than 4,000 student population. What we did is we tried to adapt this whole school sustainability framework. And this framework, as you can see, is founded on the imperative that in order to be successful, sustainability requires a whole system approach. And we all know that. Again, this is a teamwork, team effort, and it's a collaboration. So as you can see, the source is from the USPCS, Center for Green Schools. Now, one of the things that we did as well is the adoption of school sustainability policies. Like, for example, in this case, so we have 3 agendas: education, research, sustainable green, climate action, adaptation. And these are just examples, just few examples. So the first step is identifying the issues that fit into the umbrella categories of environmental, social, and governance. For environmental, those includes, of course, it's the preservation of our natural world. So we have the climate change, carbon emission reduction, water pollution and water scarcity, air pollution, deforestation, greenhouse gas emissions are the examples. Next, what about social? It's consideration of humans and our interdependencies. So we have customer success, data hygiene and security, gender and diversity inclusion, community relations, mental health. And for governance, logistics and defined process for running a business or organization, like board of directors and its makeup, executive compensation guidelines, political contributions and lobbying, venture partner compensation, hiring and onboarding best practices. So this is the governance is more of like HR practices, how you deal with like the CEO or the board of trustees policies and how you implement them, how you connect it with the employees as well. So in our school, we have this current status, project initiatives and selected SDG targets. We have 3, 4, 11, 14, 15, and 17. So we had these projects like, for example, partnerships and linkages. We know that partnerships are really very important roles. We have, like, for example, the local partnership, global partnership as well. We connected with the Department of Education and the local government units to give us a brief, clear orientation of the different programs they have in specific communities and which community are we going to adapt, for example, as well as support from them. Another local partnership we have is a collaboration between the Organic Gardener Society. Okay, some of the international partnership we have, okay, with the Global Lighthouse Foundation and the Global Sustainable Features Network. Probably you are familiar with that. Okay, and of course, our Global School Alliance was able to give us a lot, a lot of different opportunities from students to teachers and, in our ESG solutions as well. Our other project is the CAS project. So this is pretty basic, like it's creativity, activity, and service. These are just some of the examples under the CAS project that we have. So there are professional development programs for sustainability. We're giving awareness trainings, how eco schools work. And there are also several other orientations, not just for teachers and students, as well as parents and community partners. Okay, sample of other projects and collaborations that we have. So there is a sustainability expert, for example, from the UK, who is right now helping us with our sustainability journey. And she also reviewed the design sustainability program we have at the school and the community. And next, we have like a contact. This is from the leading coding platforms. So we also were able to develop our own coding summer workshop and the school. Next is like an activity that we do annually. This is the Success Inspire episode of our robotics team. We have a meet and greet with, for example, a scientist, Google scientist. We had it, and now it's a NASA engineer. There is also an international collaboration with the Global Lighthouse Studios and the David Z Foundation. This is a week-long summer camp focusing on music production and targeting social and emotional learning. Another collaboration, which is a local collaboration with the Organic Gardener Society, is actually a very good program for sustainability, the organic gardening system, the greenhouse, and they provide livelihood programs as well for our adopted school and some of the families from underprivileged communities. Okay, other ongoing projects. There are some projects right now from our Global School Alliance, and we're very happy to share with you that there are currently SDG projects, and the projects currently going on. We have collaboration with our science department, our students, teachers, and all that. They have been doing this work since January, I believe, yeah. And it's going to end in June. Yeah, so this is a wonderful project from our GSA family. One of the major projects that we had this year is also a global collaboration with the Climate Action Project under TAG, or the Take Action Global. So as you can see, this one is the result. It is a report on carbon footprint, and this came from our student reports. So the rank is 105, is 105 or 105th out of 600 teams. And there are a lot of different countries involved, like 200, I guess. Okay. These are some of the projects from our team, international collaborations as well. We have invited Jason Mays. Jason Mays is a senior Google developer who were able to give an inspiration and, you know, awareness to our robotics students, or robotics classes, and teachers as well. We have this training sessions and programs for robotics. Part of the robotics program for this school year is also a collaboration between TAG, or the Take Action Global. As you can see here, our school also joined a climate action project launching for students and teachers around the globe. And again, we focus on educational technology with the use of robotics technology in the classes. So the World Economic Forum designated the Climate Action Project as one of the Education 4.0 lighthouses. Okay, there are a lot of teachers and students involved in the project as well. Okay, so this is an example of a project made or out of Lego robotics kits, not including software. Okay. And yes, finally, one of our projects will be a collaboration again, and this time it's between an international gaming industry and our school. So we are putting up the first ever climate action game jam with Greed. Okay. All right, so let me share this with you. This is just, you know, a bit of story time, a tale of two frogs here. Okay, let's read. Two frogs fell into a bowl of milk. Having swum around the bowl, they realized that the edge of the bowl was too high and steep for them to get out unaided. The first frog, realizing that it was useless to waste his energy by continuing to swim, since that would not get him out of the bowl, gave up swimming and drowned. The second frog persevered, refused to give in, and gradually the milk turned into butter until the frog was able to use it as a foothold to jump out of the bowl. Okay, so as you can see, we really need to take action and be global change makers, and the possibilities are endless. Okay, I think that will be all. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, everyone.
Great, Jocelyn. I think there's a life lesson for us all with the frog story. That was really, really interesting. Thank you so much. And again, many thanks to you and your school, and good luck with all that incredible robotics work as well. Really great. So thank you, Jocelyn. Now we move to Esmeralda, the wonderful Esmeralda Salgado, who will tell us about her commitment to global work. Over to you, Esmeralda.
Thank you, John, and thank you for the introduction at the beginning. I thought it was fantastic, and thank you, Jocelyn. I thought it was absolutely inspiring what you showed, and it was lovely to see how a principal truly embraces the international and the global dimension that doesn't always happen, sadly. And I think you are definitely a role model for all head teachers all around the world. Let's go without this. So I'm going to share my screen now. Share sound as well. So hopefully everybody, let me get rid of the floating thing. That is always very, okay, that's fine. Okay, so I am very excited to talk here today. And I think it's been fantastic. I can talk after Jocelyn, because Jocelyn was talking about a whole school approach to global action, and I just want to do it what can happen in the classroom. Okay, so I think we can go from a global position to what can happen in the classroom in a very from any teacher, really. And for that, I just want to ask you, and obviously I'm going to be talking from the point of view of a modern foreign language teacher. based in the UK, because I know that we have a very big audience today from all around the world. And just for teachers who are not in the UK, teaching languages can be a challenge in this country, because some students don't see what is the purpose of knowing a language, because rather than English, and everybody speaks English. So why should we learn French, German, and Spanish? So that is the big conundrum. And I would like just to ask you, what do you think is the key element that contributes, okay, to success in learning a language? Okay, so what do you think it is? If you just use, I mean, I cannot see the little, the chat, because I only got one screen. But if John or someone tells me what people are saying, can people just write down, what do you think is the key element that contributes to success in learning a language? Okay, any modern foreign language.
Context, motivation.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. That came up first.
Straight
Here are some
away.
of the things. Yes. More things. Yes.
Real connections, engagement.
Yes, absolutely. Well, for me, it's about motivation. Okay. If we want students to learn a language, they need to be motivated to do so. All right. And the next question would be, what motivates the students? And I've done a lot of surveys of my 20 years career in the UK. And when I ask students, what would motivate you to the language? All the time they tell me being able to speak the language and being able to communicate in the language, because some of the students feel they've been learning more than foreign languages or I don't know how many years, and they cannot speak it. And it's about putting the language or whatever we're learning in the classroom into practice, into action. Okay, and so it's what I call the big march, making memories and making the students fly. And this is what global dimension allows us to do for languages. We think is very, very precious. I always say to students and always say to teachers when I talk to in the schools, if you think about Ronaldo and you think about these great footballers around the world, what is it they remember about their career in football? And probably, I'm sure that you would agree, would be the time when they participated in the World Cup or any major tournament. Okay, very few will remember the coaching. Okay, in order for them to get ready, they remember the big match, and that's something I'm very passionate about. It. What can we do to create, because that's what makes lessons memorable. That's what motivates students to create experiences, and that the big match. And what can we do from our position in the classroom, okay, as head of department? And for me, it's about having a big purpose, having an intention when you're learning a language, okay, and having a rich curriculum with close to life real experiences. So students are allowed to put whatever you're doing in the classroom into practice in a real experience, or as nearly as possible experience. And this is where the global dimension and projects actually come into place and can be embedded, and it should be embedded in the curriculum. And then obviously when I talk about a rich curriculum, I always talk about the 3 C's. Communication. Curriculum should, obviously I'm talking about from the point of view of languages, is about communication, and that will develop relatedness, relationships, and motivation. It's about culture, and it's about creativity. Okay, and it's about project-based learning, okay, allows us to do that. Okay, it's about things to do with real people. So what I'm going to show you is like just 4 different ways in which in a very, very simple way, we can introduce a global dimension in our curriculum, okay? From the point of view, as I said, from languages. And the first one is an exchange. And of course, we know we are very sad that in lockdown we couldn't do exchanges. Exchanges are amazing ways, okay, of getting the students motivated, because the idea is, as you can see here, taking languages outside the classroom. What can we do in the curriculum to embed real life situations where the students can use the language, okay? And exchange does all that. However, I've done exchanges in the past where it's been awkward, especially, you know, when you go there and the students go there, they meet their partners, and it's like, oh, it's the first time they see each other. And when they're getting into it, they need to go back, to England. So what I started doing is exchanges linked to projects, meaning that we were going to do some projects in the curriculum, and with our partners, so the students will have to collaborate together online, virtually, and then they will travel as well, and they will meet their partners face to face. But it was creating an expectation, okay? And we started doing that actually with Erasmus. That at the moment that is not anymore in the UK. But what we started doing is a lot of different little projects, then leading to the big trip, which was basically the actual exchange. And one of the little projects that we do, actually following Jocelyn's presentation, was on the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And one of the latest projects that we're working on was called The Village. And the idea here was that was part of what we're doing as part of our Spanish and French lessons. The students had to create collaboratively with Spain, La Réunion, and England. They had to create a village where the Sustainable Development Goals would have been achieved, and what that village would look like. And the students would have to create the inhabitants of the village. They would have to create an economy for the village. They had to create a culture and for the village, and customs and festivals. And of course, everything, the village would be an international village where everybody would speak French, Spanish, and English. Okay, so that was a little bit of what the project was about, and it was a 2-year project, and we were working on it in lessons, and every so often we would have a meeting virtually using Teams. Okay, and then the idea is that at the end is that we also actually go and travel, okay, and actually visit all our partners. So just to show you how simple it can be done. What can you do in your classroom? What kind of projects do you have? If you have a partner, what projects can you do that you can embed in what you're doing in your everyday lessons? Okay, that would be the question. And you can start small. And then after that, with a big project, you can divide it in many little tasks or projects. We were very lucky that the school allowed us to take the students off timetable for 3 hours every so often. And in those 3 hours, the students will be meeting online, and they will be working in breakout rooms, in little groups, in groups of with 2 Spanish, 2 English, and 2 children from La Réunion, and they were working different tasks. And in here you had a little bit, you will have access to this presentation, but this is a little bit of our program, just to show you, so everything was very well planned. So hopefully we'll just take some time to come in there. There you are. So we had a plan, we have some activities, we have some ice-breaking activities to start with. The students then in this particular one, they had to create the actual people in the village. Okay, they did that with Vockies, and they created avatars. And then we play who is who with the avatars they had created. They learned about circular economy. And then what we did that before we actually met online. We have watched some videos. There was some thinking about what it means at circular economy. And then at the end, collaboratively, we gave them a Google slide presentation, one for each group, and they created some scrapbooks and with the ideas of what the circular economy meant for them in Spanish, in French, and in English. English. And the beauty of it is when you got into breakout rooms, the students were speaking in the 3 different languages. So they put in all the skills into practice. And that was absolutely precious to see. So that's one of the things that we did. We also, okay, so sorry about that. This is like, yes, I got this floating thing coming in, which is becoming very annoying. I get rid of it, but it doesn't come up. So this is one, I just want to show you a little bit of what we do as well with the first mobility. Okay, so it's called mobility because it was, I'm still using Erasmus, but it's basically a task basically that we did online. So this is basically the avatars that the students created. And this is basically a bit of the circular economy, the video that everybody was watching. And there was another one. And then this is the scrapbooks the students created in Spanish. And there was one for the way we had 3 groups, okay? And we had 1 per group, and then we all created collaboratively. So I just want to show you something that the students were working towards. And then we did the same as well with a trip to La Reunion. Before going to La Reunion, we did meet virtually, and then we did another little project and with a lot of different things happening and activities during the day. Okay. Another thing that we did when we were online is that the students were showing, using Google Earth, were showing their partners about the school. So here you got some footage. The students actually using Google Earth were saying, and this is our village, this is our city, this is where you're gonna come at the end of the year. And that was in their native language. There was a lot of real listening activities taking place, and super precious. And then what I liked about all this is how the students were motivated to actually speak. There were a lot of mistakes. They were not like speaking completely in perfect Spanish or French, and either our partners were speaking in perfect English, but they were collaborating and they were working together on the sustainable goals. And I thought that was something very simple to do, okay, with the help of the Global School Alliance, very simple to do with, and you can start very, very, very small to start with. Other things as well that you can do as well as a department or as a school, but definitely as a department of languages, is what kind of extracurriculum activities you can actually show or you can actually present in your, this is the one, you can actually present and embed in your curriculum, meaning what kind, again, experiences, big, little, big matches you're going to include in your curriculum, in your schemes of work that will allow the students to put the language into practice, and hopefully as well with each other and with with your partners. So this is some of the things we tried over the years. We've done British Film Study days, we've done drama clubs, and we have created some different dramas, little sketches in French, German, and Spanish. We send it to Spain and and to France and to Germany, and using Padlet, everybody could, we recorded them and the partners could see it. We performed them in assemblies in the school. We've done MFL lunches. We've done language karaoke's. We've done treasure hunts linked to the curriculum. We've done the language leaders award that the students actually had to apply to become language leaders. Debating competitions. So this is how things that you can do in the classroom where you got a very rich agenda, making sure basically that the students have a lot of opportunities to practice the language. Okay, so this is one way of another one. The other aspect as well is that we are living in a globalized world, meaning basically that in our schools we do have a lot of nationalities, and I think we should celebrate as well the nationalities that are in our own in our community. And so because of that, we started doing an international week. Okay, and the International Week was a celebration of, because we had in our school Japanese heritage people as students, we had Russians, we had Ukrainians as well, we had Chinese, we had all these wonderful, communities and all these wonderful languages. And what we're trying to do during that week is celebrating this. the way we did it is with international concepts. We did as well dance and film extravaganzas. We did international lunches during the week. We screened films during the week as well. And then we had the language leaders that actually had applied to become language leaders running the week. So the students were also leaders, and they were leading what they wanted to do in the international week. And the international students in our community actually participated in that. It was a celebration of that and making them aware. We have film competitions, baking competitions, etc. And finally, one of the things that we were working on a lot is in project-based learning. So anything that you do in the classroom can lead to a project. And if it's a cross-curricular project, even better. I think that is super, super important. So of course, I'll show you, with the ones that we're doing with the development sustainable goals, okay? But it can be in something very, very simple. But for example, with the little students in our school, we did a Picasso project. And everything that we were doing, the students were actually sharing it with partners in Spain, in France, and in Germany. So they had an audience. The Picasso project, the idea was to talk about and learn about Picasso, and then the students would create a Picasso similar kind of picture. They would describe it, they would talk about it, what is the picture, what it symbolizes. We would record the students doing this, and then we would send that, we'd put that in a Padlet, and they would have real audiences listening to them, basically, and which was our partner students. And the partner students would do something similar, and that was basically something we had already talked with the partner schools, how we can embed the international dimension into the curriculum. We did in year 9, we do a film project, Coco, okay, in Spanish particular, but we do this another film in French and German. So we studied, but what is the idea of this is to learn as well, obviously, about the culture, about Day of the Dead. And then the students will create, like at the end, like there is always an outcome. That was project-based learning. And again, this outcome would be shared with our partners in Spain. So the Spanish, the students will have an audience. Someone is going to read what they've written about, okay? And some of it was in English, because it was a lot of culture about Day of the Dead, and some of it was about the Spanish film Coco. And that was like giving the students a real audience for their work. And we did it all the way to advanced level. So this is with my year 13s, which in the UK, this is like the oldest students in the school. Basically, they did a Pan's Labyrinth project based on all the essays that they had to write for the A-level exam. But they put it in a project. They had a fantastic display, and again, we sent this to Spain. So some real Spanish students, similar age to them, would be reading what they had been writing about Pan's Labyrinth, while at the same time they were practicing their exam skills that we had to do for this really important exam in the UK. So hopefully you get a little bit of an idea of the things that can be done as well. As well as a cross-curricular activity, we did a Master Chef project where the students were basically learning, so they were learning some vocabulary to be able to cook. And then what they did is that they went home and they learned to cook some Spanish dishes. And again, we put it on a Padlet, and all these dishes, this Padlet was seen by the Spanish school, and they voted whether they think they were the best looking palmeritas in their opinion, or they couldn't taste them. So, and then again, they would be going to Spain and they would be going to France. So the idea is that everything that they were doing in the curriculum was always linked to something, to a real audience all the time. And then I just wanted to show you, I don't know how I'm doing with time, but I'm aware of it's only 20 minutes. I just wanted to finish what about all this means when it's face-to-face with the students. Eventually, we also travel to Spain, and what we did is that we actually in one of our projects we actually took part in the carnival. Okay, so the students, again, they have been working together collaboratively, so they knew each other. It wasn't awkward when they met. And then our students took part in a Spanish carnival, and they created these outfits themselves with the Spanish students during the week in Spain. And that was, for me, this is the highlight, or one of the highlights of my teaching career, seeing this in action. So I just want to show you this little video, which is like 1 minute. The quality. I think you get the idea. I mean, this was unbelievable for our students in the UK to go take part in a Spanish carnival, go to bed late, and be with French and Spanish students as part of a project that they had been working on. This was like the old, you know, the huge success for them. And obviously they were using Spanish, they were using the English students, they were using English. And for me, this is about making memories, forging relationships, and actually is what global communication and the global education is all about. And thank you very much. Obviously, it was just 20 minutes, but it was absolutely, you know, hopefully you found that useful. And this is a QR code to the presentation. If you want to have a look at it in more detail with a lot of different links as well to all the different projects. And hopefully, yes.
Thank you. Wow. Well, that's all I can say, isn't it, John? Just wow.
Wow. And you talk about making memories. What do we say? No one forgets a good teacher. And it's so true to make those authentic connections as well, which is also a theme in Jocelyn's as well, that this is very much about making those real connections and real collaboration. So again, a huge thanks, Esmeralda. Really wonderful work and good luck back in the classroom. And certainly we're going to stay in touch with you at the Global School Alliance. Really brilliant.
So many practical advice, so many practical ideas there that were just so many to go through. That's amazing. And thank you for sharing.
It is. And I just wanted to emphasize that from the point of view of a head of MFL on what it can be done to revive languages. I'm on a mission, as John knows, in this country to revive the learning of modern foreign languages in every single classroom in the UK, because we are failing our students at the moment in the UK. They don't think they need any languages other than English, and it's wrong, so wrong.
We're with you. We're with you.
Absolutely, 150%. That was great, Esmeralda. And we just to say to everyone, you're all going to get the recording. You're all going to get everyone's contact details. So in terms of follow-up contacts, and if you've got any queries of any of our speakers, you'll be able to do that. Brilliant work, Esmeralda.
I think so actually we have Hannah was saying we have a poll we'd quite like to ask, go back to the audience, get them to involve in. Just before, sorry, Joe, just before we go to Joe, we'd like maybe to get some more opinions back based on our poll, which is very similar to what Esmeralda was going on about. So Hannah, are you able to share our current poll that you wanted to do? You are there still, aren't you, Hannah?
Yeah, it's live now.
Oh, awesome. Can we all see it?
So yeah, so fairly simple question then, but echoes very much from all our speakers. Are you planning a student trip in the near future, yes or no? And indeed, do you have a partner school? Again, do you have a partner school? Yes, no, but you'd like one? No, it's not a priority. So we'd like your thoughts on these two questions, please.
Can everyone see them? For some reason I can't, but that's just me.
So are you planning a student trip? Yes or no? And again, we would encourage all our wonderful community to get involved in that face-to-face travel. And certainly we can support you with getting a partner school. Great. I'll read out those results, Tony. Are you planning a student trip? Yes, 52%, which is great. No, 48%. We'd like it a bit higher than 52. but
Yeah,
certainly
that's
it's great.
half and half, isn't it, basically?
It's great that you're still involved with supporting those face-to-face encounters. And secondly, do you have a partner school? Yes, a third of you, 33%. No, but you'd like one, 58%. And no, it's not a priority, 9%. Slightly disappointed with that 9%, but certainly we would support you with getting a partner school. A big part of our work at the Global School Alliance is supporting those authentic partnerships. So very interesting stats there. And
thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on those, and we will be in touch with you all. Okay, moving across now to the wonderful Joe Speak. I'm very proud to actually be a governor at Joe's wonderful primary school up in West Yorkshire. So without further ado, across to you, Joe. Hello.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me today. And it was absolutely fantastic to hear about bringing languages to life. Esmeralda, thank you. It was it felt like we'd actually been somewhere, didn't it, instead of sitting here on screen this afternoon. And that's exactly what students need. And Jocelyn too, as school leader, I'm going to share hopefully my approach and passion for bringing the whole school community together in the name of global dimension. So without further ado, okay, can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, we're okay, great. Okay, so yes, thanks for having me. I'm currently a school leader, head teacher at a maintained school, which is a public school in the north of England. We have 20 home languages spoken, and the majority of our pupils come from Pakistani, India or Bangladeshi heritage. So I think it's important to know our context and why we do things the way we do at Poplar's Farm. Okay, so obviously the purpose of education as well, we want our children to be engaged. We saw that with Esmeralda's brilliant presentation, but if we think about school as being able to open doors to a wider world and global minds to be formed. So I'm going to Frere to see the purpose of education, to act upon and transform the world in order to move towards ever new possibilities of a fuller and richer life individually, and that really important word collectively. And here we are in the Global School Alliance together. And then to Michael Fullan as well, and I'm part of Michael Fullan's new Pedagogies for Deep Learning global network. And Michael has said that students want to engage with the world. Haven't we seen that with those students in Esmeralda's school? They want to learn more and they want to change things for the better, and they don't want to wait for 10 years. They don't want policies. They don't want things to be put in and then taken away. They want to be connected today. And we've seen that in all the presentations this afternoon, that idea of schools coming together with a global purpose. Okay, so this is the way that we've approached this supporting teachers in the global curriculum in Poplar's Farm. And it's been built up over a number of years, but it includes 4 essential elements. So the first one is the school culture, and that's something that we've worked on very hard to get the global dimension to be part of. This is the way we do things around here. We look towards international partners virtually, using mobility as well. And we also look to our own school community, being such a diverse community, actually seeing them as a valuable resource to push that global learning forward. So that's our school culture. Then the curriculum. Now, we've been fortunate enough to actually devise our own curriculum, and we've done that with all staff being part of it. So our MFL leader has been listened to and heard as much as the maths, the English teacher. And I think that's really important, that value of all subjects. And what we've done is we've created progression of knowledge and skills documents. So they're like the learning intentions. And because they are so clear, the teachers can think about the pedagogy. They can think about using technology, leveraging the digital. They can think about involving international partners into how they're going to teach. So the what's there, it's just they have then that freedom, and I think that's really important. And also that idea as well of learning together, as we've heard about from earlier speakers, working on projects together is really important. So the curriculum's there. I do think as well that we're in this together, the teaching profession, it's a worldwide group, and being able to learn from each other and share what we do well, and but not only do that, but also learn from others is absolutely paramount. And we can do that from the Global School Alliance, New Pedagogies for Deep Learning Global Network as well, using international partners, and also school social media too. Twitter is a fantastic resource to find out how people are teaching, what's the great hot potatoes of different education systems. So, you know, getting the best into our schools. And then finally, the involvement of pupils, and that's for the engagement, isn't it? It's the motivation and that idea of planning for the future. And we know that pupils, when they buy into what they're doing, they've got a strong sense of justice, what's fair and what's not. And when given the opportunity to explore a real cause, they want to speak out and impart the knowledge they've gained, apply their learning, just like, once again, Esmeralda's pupils had done when they finally got to meet their international friends. And so making this involvement of pupils for learning to be authentic and real and meaningful to them is vital. And at Poplars Farm, we have a school parliament for them to feel that they are part of making school decisions. But we also have a subcommittee, which is called the Global Committee, and they lead charity events. They lead, for example, getting rid of palm oil in products in the school kitchen, things like that, real active global citizenship. So that's how we do it. I want to share now with you some reasons behind and how we've done it as well at Poplars Farm. So our vision, I've just realized actually this is not the right presentation. Are you able to share it, Tony, please?
Okay, I think hang on a second, I will. Do you want to stop sharing your screen, Joe?
Yes, I will do, thank you.
Right, let me take a second to find your, I've got it here somewhere.
Thank you.
Right. Joe, where's Joe? There you are. I'm hopefully I've got the right one.
You have got the right one. Yeah. But we will look at school culture now, and we'll see how we do it to invite all our pupils and parents and that whole school community into. Thank you.
So we've done that one.
Yeah, keep going. There we go.
One.
Yes, thank you. So it's really paramount to involve the whole school community, and not just the pupils themselves, but the parents and their families. And so the vision statement is at the heart of bringing this global element into the school. And so our vision statement is to create a dynamic and engaging learning community with a global perspective where everyone can grow and flourish as whole human beings. And that's really looking towards social diversity, ethnic diversity, and neurodiversity as well. So it's very much a community that's including everybody. Thank you. And this is an example of what we did as a whole school in response, and wanting to involve the whole community in response to something that had happened that we all felt we wanted to do something about. And it was in response to the war on Ukraine. And we had every child in school, of 400 and just under 400 at this point, and they made a little wooden plaque with a symbol that they wanted to represent giving the world a hug. And so every child's piece of artwork was put to make the heart, and we invited the whole locality to come and see our art installation. And the parents and visitors wrote little messages on luggage labels, and we had those round as well. So it really united the school and the parents and the governors all together, and to feel that we wanted to drive peace forward. Thank you. So moving on to the curriculum, our curriculum is characterised by its varied, creative, challenging curriculum, and yes, it's that project-based learning that Esmeralda was talking about. We invite diversity in at any moment, and we keep holding that global outlook, and this leads us to look worldwide for best practice. And I think this is why the Global School Alliance is such a great platform to learn from each other. You know, we want to take that best practice, and we want to build international partnerships and share also the successes of what we do across the world. And I mentioned before our own value system we created, and because we're so diverse at our school, different backgrounds, I needed to have a set of values which would act as the glue, and to know that everybody was equal. And so our values, giving, responsible, open-minded and welcoming, are relevant to every child of every religion, of every cultural background, and every adult in school as well. And so this means that actually the curriculum is contributing to that whole school climate and culture of how we do things, and that's that global element. Thank you. Okay, so this is a quotation, because I do think it's all very well me as school leader telling you what we do, but I think it's so much more powerful if we hear what the teachers think of the way we do it at our school too. So this is a year 4 teacher, and she's not even been with us a year. So she's not been in a school where there's been no global learning at all. And so these are her words. The Poplars curriculum is carefully curated to ensure learning is meaningful and rich through global connections to the areas of the world we learn about. In the autumn term, year 4 studied the Egyptians in history, like a lot of schools do in England, and built upon this learning by later studying the River Nile in geography. Having learnt about the importance of rivers, they looked at a beautiful picture book about abundance and scarcity of water. And of course, then we start to look at the Sustainable Development Goals, clean water for all. And pupils felt moved by the water crisis around the world. So they're taking that leadership, and they wrote heartfelt speeches. They knew the words mattered because they were to present their speeches to our partner school in Egypt. And so this child said, I felt confident performing my speech, especially when the Egyptian children clapped me. Year 4 were eager to show off their artwork on Arabic calligraphy and relished hearing the children read their work in their mother tongue. One of our pupils states, it was enjoyable to hear a different language. Our partner school in Egypt taught us about the River Nile and presented their work. This was a wonderful opportunity to bring a global dimension to our topic and enabled us to make those excellent connections. So, and I think that is exactly what a curriculum should do. It's not add-ons, it's not extra work for teachers, it's just emphasizing opportunities to share and that encouraging that motivation and engagement, which obviously international learning does. Thank you. Okay, and something else I wanted to share with you about our curriculum as well, and again we made it together, the staff made it together. We wanted to encourage a curiosity about the world and bring the school and national and global context through biggest ideas, because we know children make learning by making links, and so we decided we'd come up across 4 biggest ideas which we think equals that quality, meaningful and current curriculum, and one which will lead to deep knowledge. And so these four biggest ideas, and you'll see each one has got so many opportunities for global dimension and international linking. So the first one's faces, spaces and places. That's all about migration and people on the move and the self and cultural backgrounds. The second one's express to impress, create to communicate, and that's that appreciation of the aesthetic and value of artistic expression, role models through time and place. So an example of that is looking at Black role models like Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, and then in year 6 they learn, in year 1 they do that, and then in year 6 they then start looking at segregation, slavery, etc. So you can see those links go through school. The third one's discoveries and making sense of the world, and obviously the impact of scientific technological advances, and absolutely fantastic and make creating links. And then the final one is one planet to share, care for and make fairer. And, you know, that's clearly the rights and responsibilities, equal opportunities, peace and conflict resolution. And I've left, you'll see the screens later, you can see some of the big questions that we have that come through, all linking to our biggest ideas. And that's, I think this is the most crucial thing we've developed to bring that global learning into the classroom. Thank you. And the third one is that training and teacher development. And like Esmeralda, we've been fortunate enough to work with on Erasmus projects previously, but we've concentrated on professional development, learning from each other, having experts in when we visit each other's countries, each other's schools, and then planning and sharing and evaluating on a Europe-wide platform. And I think that this can be done virtually. We've just been fortunate enough to have some financial support with it. So our staff, and you can see the faces there of some of my youngest staff, so enthusiastic to go and hear about Lego and robots in Greece. It's an it really brings enthusiasm to the youngest and oldest like me there standing with them. So thank you. Next one. And again, I wanted you to hear from some of my staff, because this is my assistant head teacher for early education. She has kindergarten up to year 2 in England. So I feel privileged to be part of the journey. Poplars Farm is an outward-facing school which celebrates diversity and commitment to our future global citizens. You can hear a language, can't you? You know, it's embedded. Having received training on teaching music in Turkey, I've been fortunate enough for my reception class to collaborate with a kindergarten in Romania. And I know we've got some Romanian colleagues here today. And they explored messages, music and artwork, and all relating to the rights of the child. So this was 3- and 4-year-olds looking at the rights of the child. There doesn't have to be an age limit on when you start teaching rights and responsibilities. We planned the lessons together, then delivered the same lessons to our children. We reflected on them and plan future projects. My training experience in Finland involved the Lau Lau song draw. This is a holistic approach which combines musical and visual expression, movement and bodily expression, rhyming and storytelling. Putting this into practice has been a fabulous experience. Since introducing Lau Lau, we've seen a significant impact in children's emergent writing, gross fine motor skills, creativity, and their movement to music. Communication and language skills have increased as well, with children singing a large repertoire of songs, and that meaningful learning. The final essential element we see is the involvement of pupils, and these are my words actually. The ethnic and social diversity of our school population is reflected in the curriculum. It's broad balance with opportunities for pupils to celebrate and share and learn their own cultural beliefs. So we do have International Week, we have children teaching other children, and we have a community picnic, and we call on pupils to share, and this leads to them taking pride in their own identity. So I think that's really important, that children should have a pride in who they are and their own preserving their own cultural heritage, and obviously international partner schools extend that intercultural understanding. And this is some 8-year-olds. I've put the countries, Romanian, Polish, Indian, Zimbabwe, their own cultural identity on things that they see as being important, and that is making a wish, reflecting, and obviously the recycling sign there too. And I think that image communicates exactly the power of bringing a global dimension into the classroom. So thank you very much for listening about our journey at Poplars Farm. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you, Jo. And to finish on talking about the power of this work, it is incredibly powerful, and I think that's what unites those 3 incredible presentations. There's something very powerful, very authentic, and incredibly meaningful in your great communication and commitment to this work. So a big thank you, Joe, a big thank you to Jocelyn, a big thank you to Esmeralda, and a big thank you to you, our wonderful Global School Alliance audience.
Do we have any questions? I couldn't see any in the chat, John. I don't know if you saw any questions. Does
no,
anybody
there's
have any questions?
lots of comments saying how wonderful you all are. If you do have anything, we'll send you the recording. You'll have the contact details of our 3 wonderful speakers if you, on reflection, if you want to ask any particular queries.
You could put your hand up now if you have a question now, just asking while you're here, while we've got them here live. One thing I wanted to ask, actually, because I know it is inspirational, and a lot of you have a sort of management position, and it's great that leaders are behind it, but I know there's an awful lot of people, members and here as well, who are teachers but don't have that sort of authority. How do they get this message across to your leadership, the value of it, and how do they start? Even how do we approach leadership with this to get it accepted by leadership? Can anyone offer advice on that? Any of our speakers?
I can do it, because obviously, although I'm a head of department, but I'm very little in the management. I'm nothing like SLT or anything like that. And I think it's very important to, if I was just a teacher, first to talk to your head of department, start small, implementing in your department, and then making it visible, having assemblies and knocking on the door of the SL team as much as possible. Because some people in the SL team, I mean, what we've seen today is amazing, and I would love to work with people like Joe and Jocelyn. It's just like my ideal head teachers, but not everybody is like that, and not because they don't want to, but some of the people in the SL team, they are not aware of this. So it's about being, I always say to people, be a friendly bee. You know, a bee that's always bzzz, in a friendly way. So no, but in a friendly way. So don't let them go away with it. Don't be shy.
Thank you, Esmeralda. Joe, how would your teach? I suppose your teachers, you're open to your teachers anyway, but I was thinking of advice of how they could approach leadership if the leadership is not aware or doesn't have time, if they're too busy.
I've been in that position because I've been that teacher where the head teacher hasn't particularly sort of followed the same vision as myself, and I've led by example, maybe working in an after school club as enrichment activities, getting small partnerships going, and then working through small partnerships and then getting more staff involved, and it grows. And I think that the accreditation system, like the Global School Alliance, as at different levels, I think that many a head teacher is very much enthused by an award.
Brilliant. Thanks, Joe. So so little steps. And I think this is what we're doing as schools in general. We can't change government policies. We can't always change minds. But if we have enough groundswell and enough evidence of us actually doing it, we can make a difference. So it's little steps, doing little bits, what you can, and showing an impact and building on it. Thank you very much. I don't know if Jocelyn is still with us. Would you like to add anything there, Jocelyn?
Oh, yeah. Hey there, Tony. Thank you so much. Yeah, just like what Esmeralda and Joe have said, you know, it's also very important to start
your little activity, like for example in your department, and show them the feedback. That's very important, that you got a feedback from your students, teachers, the students and parents and the community, and show it to your boss. You know, this is going to be the impact that it will create, you know. So I think that that's also one thing.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Wonderful. Does anybody else have a question while we're here, or do we say goodbye for now? So basically what I was going to say was that our next one, that's Joe's presentation, the next another meeting next month. But when I close this down in a minute, there will be a survey to get your certificate of attendance. So if you could do a survey as well, because we're always wanting feedback. We always want to develop and provide useful, activities and useful topics for everybody in the community. So your survey helps us develop the community out, and also gets you the certificate for attendance, which I know a lot of people want. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for our wonderful speakers, and thank you everyone for participating. John, any last words?
Just quickly add as well, a big shout out again to ambassadors. do consider becoming a Global School Alliance ambassador. I always say you are the most important people in the world, and the more sharing, collaboration, celebration of the great work that you're doing every day, it's fantastic. Our next event is on the 27th of April. So again, if you'd like to contribute to that, about the importance of face-to-face engagement and any ideas you have about that. If you haven't joined the Global School Alliance formally, why not? We can support you through that. And as Joe mentioned, the awards, do get recognition for the great work you're doing. You are doing incredibly powerful work every day. So it's important you're recognised for that. Thank you for joining us. If there's nothing else, let's stay in touch. You are brilliant people. A big thank you from the Global School Alliance to the wonderful Joe, Esmeralda and Jocelyn. We're all in this together, as Joe said, and we look forward to working with you every day. So take care and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks, Jocelyn. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Esmeralda.